Hello, this is Sunil Sundaraj with njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in DePaul Catholic High School football senior defensive tackle Skylar DiFabio. Skylar, thanks so much for taking some time out to speak with me today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No problem, Skylar. Congratulations on a great career, football career at DePaul Catholic, and then upcoming graduation. You know, a lot of success. I guess you had some time now to just sit back and think about your career there on the football field, DePaul Catholic. I just want to ask you right off the bat, what comes to your mind, Skylar?
Definitely a lot of hard work. We spent a lot of time over the summer just trying to perfect our craft, get into shape, and it brought us together as a team. Like I'd ride for any one of my brothers, and they'd do the same. It's just family aspect really comes to mind.
That's great. That's great. I said it again. We talked about before there, crazy year, unprecedented with this COVID-19 pandemic. Uh, you guys didn't know if you were going to have a football season. I mean, it just, and then finally at the last minute, it came to fruition and you guys got that green light. What was that moment for you, the rest of the senior class, and then the team as well, Skylar?
It's really hard to practice during the summer and not know if you're gonna be able to play like when you want to, and that all that work would just be for nothing. But once we got that confirmation that the season was going, we worked harder than ever, and it was really relieving,
Yeah,
honestly. A weight just dropped off. Like, I'll get to play this year,
exactly.
even if it was uh, a different type of schedule.
Mhm. Just describe that that first practice, and then of course the first game that you guys had. Just walk me through those emotions, Skylar.
Uh, it, 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 you almost you can't even really describe it. Almost, it's
Yeah,
it's it's so much excitement, so much riding on that moment, and there's so much work through the 4 years, like that that is like where you get to show what you're made of.
yeah. I was just wondering, heading into this year, as you said, training was very different for this final season. There at DePaul Catholic. What, as a senior class, like the seniors on the team, were there any goals or something that you were, a motto that you guys were, trying to abide by and try to, follow through as this season, transpired?
Well, we knew games weren't guaranteed this season because it
Yeah,
was a crazy year. So we all of the seniors, actually everyone on the team, vowed to play every game like their last,
yeah,
because it could honestly happen whenever.
yeah.
And thankful to have got the amount of games we got, but we could have got more, we could have got less. The season could have been canceled midway through. We would have
Yeah.
never knew.
No, that's
So
true. I say week to week, practicing so much, preparing for game day, and then, sometimes, having, said a game, canceled here or pushed back. Also in addition, I think, another thing is head coach John McKenna's, final season coaching at DePaul Catholic. I'm sure that was very emotional, for the team and for the seniors, especially Skylar.
yeah, definitely. Coach Mack was almost a mentor for me ever since freshman year when we went up to varsity during the playoffs. He's always been the straightforward, no BS coach, and you learn a lot from him through the time, and he's going to be a really good AD for DePaul.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I wanted to ask you that what was a week to week, and then that final game that you played. What was going through your mind, like knowing as the time was nearing that you're gonna be playing your final game and wearing that jersey, that DePaul Catholic jersey. What was just wanted to ask you about that, Skylar.
Honestly, it was exciting, but also nerve wracking at the same time. Like you wanna show what you're made of. You want to show everyone who doubted you, like what how where you are now. But you also get nervous because you're realizing like this is my last shot. I have to nail this.
Yeah. What
And
was
it
that fun? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
nah, I was just gonna
Yeah.
elaborate on.
what was that final game like? You know, the final home game. You know, just you know, what were the again just the environment, just the emotions. You know, again for the seniors especially.
It felt surreal. We didn't come out on top, but we definitely put our hearts out on that
Mhm.
field, and we all worked our asses off for that moment. And it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but
Yeah,
we showed resilience through the whole game, and we really worked as a team to try and come out on top.
yeah. I said I know it was a difficult season because you didn't have fans in the stands, only family, and that was even limited. Just talk about how I mean, you brought up a great word before, surreal, or just just not having that true high school football environment there, just having all the people, the band, cheerleaders, everybody involved. Just talk about that, Skylar.
It was something that was hard to get used to at first,
Yeah.
because the first game, well, I mean, for the first half of the season, we were allowed to have 500 spectators,
Okay.
but it still wasn't the packed house that we
Yeah.
were used to. And same thing, like there were no cheerleaders on away games.
Hmm.
It was like we didn't have all the morale coming from the cheering and the parents and the cheerleaders, all that. So we had
Hmm.
to make our own morale, and it was a struggle at first.
Yeah.
But we learned to come together as a team and pick each other up when we make mistakes, or and celebrate more when we actually do something right.
Yeah. Hey, talk about. I said you're a defensive tackle. Talk about the defense this year. The guys you played with. I wanted to ask you about that, Skylar.
Well, we ran a three down front. Uh, Usually would have Shane Alvarenga on one side of me and Quire Price on the other.
Hmm.
Um, Good linebacker core behind us, and amazing DBs that wouldn't let a ball pass by them. We were really cohesive on defense this year. It took a little bit. The first few games we weren't where we wanted to be, but then as the year went on, and we stopped thinking as much and started just doing.
Yeah. I want to ask you as a defensive unit, knowing how much the offense brought to the table, especially led by quarterback Andrew Butler. How good was it knowing that you had, especially a quarterback in Andrew of his caliber and what he, as far as the stats he put up? Can you just talk about that aspect of the game?
Well, that's something we 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 try and overtake almost the offense. Like we want our defense to shine more than the offense every year,
Hmm.
and vice versa. The offense wants to shine more than the
Yeah,
defense.
yeah,
So in practice, we're just constantly battling,
yeah.
constantly making each other better, and that's what we try and like work on together as
Yeah.
a team.
Hey, you were coming off a tremendous 2019 season, championship season. Uh, just describe what that journey was like in 2019, ending up there at Rutgers University SHI Stadium, and just being able to hoist the trophy up, Skylar.
Yeah, that season, the 2019 season felt very long. We were working forever, double bye weeks in the playoffs.
Mhm.
It was a lot, but once we finally got on that field and once we finally won that chip, it just made it feel all worth it.
Yeah, I want to just dive into your training here. It said we all talk about it's 24/7, 365. There's no days off. As far as when it comes to training for high school football. Can you talk about where you started, freshman year, and now here progressed to, your senior year, and just what you tried to do in the off season just to make yourself a much better player every season, Skylar?
Well, freshman year, I just tried working on it. It was a lot of simple things. I was just still trying to get stronger, watching my weight. I didn't really start taking it super serious until sophomore year.
Hmm.
In the beginning of sophomore year, I got hurt,
Okay.
so I wasn't able to play, and I gained a bunch of weight.
Okay.
And the off season, I had to work myself down. And I was in the best shape I was ever in.
Okay.
And for junior year, it was I got into Pro Edge, which is in Wayne with Coach Javon Parker,
Okay.
and he taught me a lot of the technique stuff. And a lot of the get off stance, all that for D line,
Mhm.
and I still go to him to this day, and we keep building on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people tend to forget. It's great to have muscle, be heavy, but it's also about developing that speed, that quickness, that agility as well, Skylar.
Mhm. Yeah, we definitely with Coach Javon and sometimes with Coach Mack, we uh we work on feet and hands and quickness because for defensive linemen, the most important uh part on the field is the 5 yards in front of you and the 5 yards behind you.
Hmm.
And being able to maneuver in that box quickly is one of the keys to being a good defensive lineman.
It's great. You talked about Coach McKenna. I don't want to forget the rest of the coaching staff as well there at DePaul Catholic. If you want to just talk about your defensive coordinators and just what defensive line coaches and what they meant to you as well, Skylar.
Well, yeah, Coach Mack actually was my defensive line
Oh,
coach.
okay, okay,
And, Coach Rasheed Darashaw was the defensive coordinator. He
okay.
was a really hard mouth coach. He was not taking no BS. Was um, he made us push a lot, but that was beneficial because if he'd make us push, we wouldn't be where we were at. We wouldn't be as tough as we were. We wouldn't be as conditioned as we were, and yeah, that I'm seriously thankful for. And Coach Al Natoli, he was really good because he helped not just create some schemes, but explain the schemes to us in a way that we would understand. You
Mhm.
know, and yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to also talk about also the support from DePaul Catholic. From the school students. I know this year, of course, we're remote learning, much different. Not being able to walk those hallways, and I'm sure you could probably attest to it during leading up to game week or game day. Support from the school, also the administration as well, and even the town and Wayne. If you could just describe that, Skylar.
Yeah, honestly, going to DePaul, it's an interesting experience because you have so many people rooting for you. Like it's not like a public school where you've got your public school kids and
Mhm.
your town rooting for you. At DePaul, you've got all of Wayne and you've got the administration and you've got kids from other towns, and it makes it for like more of a more of like a college like experience because you're
Yeah,
meeting so many different people from so many different areas that all support you, you
yeah.
know.
I wanted to just quickly pivot back to football about the home games, what it meant to put that jersey on. What did that jersey, that DePaul Catholic jersey, represent to you, Skylar? Um, if you can,
um
yeah.
that jersey was I almost felt like a superhero in that jersey. I felt like I had to put my part in
Hmm.
or else I wouldn't feel good about myself afterwards, you know. I always wanted to be the best on the field, and especially when I was wearing that jersey, I felt like me and my team felt like the Avengers.
What is it? I mean, there's a tradition there. There's a legacy, at DePaul Catholic. What makes this school so special in that football program, Skylar?
Just how hard we work and that they instill toughness from day one. And the coaches always tell us we're the smallest private school, and
Hmm.
yet we play against all the big dogs.
Yeah,
And so we have to work harder, just as hard as that,
yeah.
you know, because we don't have the numbers, but we have the heart.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great segue, Scholar. Just talking about the non-publics. Going up against I mean the heavy said hitters. What is that every week? I mean the competition being so intense and fierce. Can you just describe being in that locked in that battle for 4 quarters with these teams? We're talking about Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, Paramus Catholic, St. Joe's. I mean, you had a bunch of them out there. I mean, now you started with Del Barton. I mean, last year against Mater D Prep. I mean, you saw. I mean, that went right down to the wire. So I just wanted to get your feedback on that.
Yeah, so definitely. it all starts in the film room, though. We spend a
Yeah,
lot of time analyzing the other team. Uh, Personally, we all figure out who we're gonna go against, and we
mhm,
figure out what they do, their tips, all that stuff, and we use it against them once we play them.
yeah,
It's really it's a battle because you're never playing against like slouches. You're always
yeah,
playing against some good opponents, and you've always got to be ready to flip the switch like that.
yeah. I say to people, this is some of the best competition, not only in North Jersey, but across the state and maybe in the country here, Skylar. I mean, I think that's how top. I mean, because now you've seen the games, of course, being on ESPN in the past. I think FS1, Fox Sports One. I mean, can you? I mean, it's just being under the bright lights and having that spotlight on you guys. I mean, such an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, definitely. Like I could never even imagine if I was younger thinking about where I was at right now and how big high school football would be. It never really like clicked, but now I sort of realize how almost like statewide like big North football is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To you, what personally, what does the game of football represent or mean to you personally, Skylar?
Football. Well, it started out for me as an escape, and it helped me get my emotions out.
Hmm.
And it through that I fell in love with the game, and now I just genuinely enjoy playing it. And football through high school was a way to get a free education. I want to go to college for free,
Hmm.
and I want to make sure my mom's set and she has nothing to worry about. So that was one of the driving factors of
That's great.
football.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. How the college process is going for you right now, Skylar. I know that you said a bunch of schools. I know that you've been in contact with. I've seen that. Can you just, with everyone out there, if you can just talk about that?
Well, right now I've got 6 offers. I
Okay.
have um, from Geneva College, Fairleigh Dickinson University, Midland University, Montclair State, Mount Marty, and I can't think of the last one. um, I'm sorry, I can't
No,
think
it's
of it.
okay. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I'm talking to a bunch of Division 3, Division 2 schools. I've sent my film out to a couple Division 1 schools.
Okay.
It's going well, but it's weird. Like everything is so new to everyone because of
Yeah.
this whole COVID time,
Yeah.
not being able to take
To
visits.
visit the campuses. Yeah.
And like you can only have one visit at a time. You gotta. It's just a lot. It's very confusing, not just for the class of 2021, but also the coaches.
Yeah. You brought up a terrific point, excuse me, about film, being able to send out your highlights, talking to other players, you have Huddle, you have other platforms out there. How essential is that for you guys? I mean, to have that capability, to utilize these resources and send that out to, to colleges as well, Skylar.
Yeah, I mean, back in like the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s,
Yeah.
you'd have to wait for the schools to come to you.
Yeah.
Now you can go to the schools, and it's a lot easier to get noticed. It's a lot easier to put yourself out there because you don't have to wait and just like my time's coming. No,
Yeah.
you can make your own time by trying to impress these coaches and
Yeah.
get a good highlight tape. There's no one you can't really impress.
That's right. As we know, it's just not athletics; it's academics as well, Skylar. Being a student athlete is no walk in the park. I mean, you have to really be committed to it. I mean, dedicated. As far as being organized, having your time management down. Can you just speak to that? How you have been able to balance that out as well?
Yeah, definitely. Time management is a key. I struggled with that a little early on in my academic career, but just like everything, you learn to adapt, and you learn what works best for you. Um, I spend a lot of time with making sure that my work and my homework is correct and not just done,
Mhm.
because finishing something is only half of it. You have to make sure that everything you put down is correct.
Mhm.
And I take pride in that. And I also take pride in saying that I can get a grade I'm happy with and also perform on the field at the same time.
Yeah. No, that's terrific. I just have a couple more. I can't thank you enough, Scholar, for the time. I don't want to forget family. You mentioned your mom. Just if you can talk about the support, if you have any siblings, just the support you received from your family. Uh, before attending DePaul Catholic, growing up, and now, of course, here in high school.
Yeah, well, all I really have is my mother. My mom's
Okay.
my she's always there at every game. She's there to take me to every practice. She's my biggest fan, and I've met a couple coaches through youth along the way that are still come to some high school games,
Yeah.
and you meet people along the way, and they really gravitate towards you because like me and my mother were genuine, and we we really just love the game, and
Yeah.
they see that, and it's just all about mutual coming together, supporting for a common cause.
That's great. I was wondering, growing up, Skylar, as far as sports is concerned, were there any other sports that you played? And then, just when you truly knew that, look, football is my passion. This is what I want to do, of course, in high school, into college, and, even beyond.
Yeah, I've been playing football since I was 4.
Okay.
I've been playing baseball since I was 4.
Okay.
Um, but I stopped playing baseball after sophomore year to focus on football. Um, and it was it was a really good choice for me because the summer or the off season of sophomore year was when I really got serious about football, when I got serious about losing weight, when I
Mhm.
got serious about getting stronger, technique, all that, pro edge, it all just clicked, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've said this to a couple of players recently. I think people also tend to forget about sports nutrition, how important that is. It's just, again, not having the skills and, you're putting in the training and practice time, but also, nutrition is, just as critical as, the other skills. I was wondering, when it comes to the college game or pros, NFL, are there any defensive tackles that you try to follow, as much as possible, Skylar?
Well, of course, the greatest, Aaron Donald, super explosive off
Yeah.
the line, gets his hands off.
Yeah.
I used to be a real big fan of Fletcher Cox,
Hmm.
the way he was able to get off the ball,
Yeah.
and definitely Julius Peppers, the way he was able to hit his swim move and then
Yeah.
get to the quarterback. Those were
Yeah.
my top 3 big inspirations.
That's great. Final question, Skylar, is, being a senior, you're able to pass down your knowledge and experience to the younger, underclassmen, freshmen, sophomores, and you were there at one time.
Mhm.
And just elaborating on that is that there are younger kids out there, you've seen them at the games, throwing footballs around and just trying to decide, look, do I want to, pursue this? They're in Pee Wee or juniors. Just wondering what your message is, for younger, athletes or younger players, again, trying to move up that ladder.
Well, I tell them straight up, it's gonna be very hard. It's a grind. It's not gonna be easy. But the more you push through it and the more you work harder by yourself and with your team, the better you're gonna end up being. Football, you can, of course, athleticism helps, but hard work outweighs everything in football. Toughness outweighs everything in football. If you're tough and you outwork everyone, you will be fine. And that's really what I tell them. Doesn't matter
Oh,
how small or big,
yeah.
just work hard.
That's great. We're going to end on that note. I can't thank you enough, Scholar, for the opportunity. It's just been, again, a true honor and privilege, speaking with you. So just congratulations on your success there on and off the field at DePaul Catholic High School, and wishing you all the best. When it, with college, and looking forward to seeing what you do at the next level.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate all the support I'm getting from everyone, and very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.